How fun. Just touch this bone on my rib cage here, right over where my heart would be, if...
You reach for the rib in question, but nothing feels different. Not until you try to pull your finger away and it remains glued to the bone.
All right, mister. Deep thought. First up, our purpose in life. I say it's to accumulate knowledge. Pretty great.
His jaws clack together in a show of self-assurance.
I mean, I always thought of it as, like, life has two different purposes. The first purpose is the biological purpose, the drive to live, mate, have offspring, and then keep those offspring alive for the next generation. And that's really it. That's what your fucking purpose is supposed to be as far as, like, your biological drives go. Outside that, your fucking purpose in life is whatever the fuck you want to do. Like, a lot of things tie into the first one, though. So, like, gathering knowledge is basically ensuring safety. The more you know, the safer you are. And thus, the safer you can make your child. So, like... yeah. But that answer's not here, apparently. I mean, that's the biological part.
You question your response the moment it leaves your lips. Your entire body shivers anxiously as you wonder, what is this life's true meaning?
You poor, precious, pathetic thing. That's what happens when you gaze into an unseasoned soul. Let's see if you can do better this time. Tell me, Sammy Smarty Pants, is there such a thing as free will? I say no. The gods guide our every move. I dare you to outsmart me now.
I think he's wrong, but for the wrong reason. Or I think he's right, but for the wrong reason. Or kinda. I don't think we have a macro free will. Micro free will, I do believe we have. And by that, I mean, essentially, what I mean by that is that can you want and do whatever you want to? For the most part, yes. So you have free will on a micro scale. On a macro scale, you do not have free will. For two reasons. One, you are limited by your physical abilities and your mental abilities. You can want all you want to fucking save someone with surgery, but unless you're a surgeon, you're probably gonna fucking kill the person. You can also want with all your want to do fucking high mathematics, but if you've never gone to school and learned mathematics, you ain't doing shit. I also think, on a macro scale, you don't have free will in the sense that your current actions are determined by past experiences. Like essentially, the actions, okay, for example, you're born to a set of parents. You have no choice in who those parents are. You don't have any choice in how they would act, how they would treat you, anything like that. So you're born to them. From there, you have no choice in how they raise you. So you end up getting raised by them. You also have no choice in your own fucking brains, physical abilities, or anything like that. All of that shit, all the things you do not have a choice in, shape you and shape what you believe, what you do, what you say, all that shit. And so it shapes what your actions will be. And what your wants it will be. So then when you grow up and you start doing stuff, well, for one, life is going to do shit to you whether or not you like it. So you don't have to fucking, it's like, you don't have to have any input on it. Life will just throw something at you that you never thought it would happen. Like a fucking, like, your house burns down and you're suddenly homeless. Or someone kills your brother or some shit. Or you win the fucking lottery. You know, any of these things can happen. And that will shape who you are and shape your decisions. And, like, from there, you... fuck, I'm starting to lose my train of thought here. Essentially, all those shape your identity, the way you think, your wants, your needs. And then from there, those shape what your actions will be. and then the actions have a reaction of changing your world, and that will further influence you. So essentially, on a macro scale, you don't have, to my belief, you do not have free will. But on a micro scale, you do have all the free will you want. It's just your free will is determined by shit that's outside of your control. So the things you want to do, you can want whatever you want, but your wants are predetermined by your past.
How could I have been so simple when the truth is so vast?
But I know that will fucking get him.
Well, I won't let you outshine me again.
The skeleton hangs his head low, then yanks it upwards again.
Is there a difference between right and wrong? The truth is that there is not. Only action and consequence. Oh-ho! I got you there.
I actually see that more as an idea of altruistic and selfish. I see it more as a sliding scale between altruism and selfishness. The more altruistic something is, the more usually it's considered right. The more selfish something is, the more it's usually seen as wrong. It's actually why I fucking prefer the idea in, it's actually why I prefer in D&D the idea of replacing good and evil with altruistic and selfish. Nothing wrong with altruism, but there are times in which being altruistic would end up harming people. Essentially, like it's like the idea. An extreme example is kind of like the SCP. That SCP article about like having to do procedure 110 Munchausen or something like that. It's not Munchausen. It's 110 Murdoch or Mundock or something. It's like, apparently, whatever it is, whatever this thing is a horrible fucking thing you do to someone, and it is the worst torture you could ever inflict on someone, and it always has to be fresh pain they are feeling. So it's the entire procedure also involves resetting a person's memory so that they are being made to feel the worst pain at all times of their life. And yet, if they die, the entire world will come to an end. Or not if they die. If they aren't subjected to this shit. But also if they die. If they die, or if they're not subjected to this shit, the world will come to an end. And so, that shit's pure fucking evil to do. But it's extremely altruistic. But it's causing a single person to suffer an unimaginable fate. So it's like, it's not good, 100%, but it kind of is, because it's saving millions of lives. Meanwhile, being selfish is not always good, or not always bad. Like, stealing food for your, like, starving sibling. If you and your sibling are homeless and your sibling's starving, stealing food for them, that's selfish as shit, because you're fucking stealing from someone else that might need the income. But you're helping someone else. So it's like, but you're helping your family. By your selfishness, you might be hurting the income of an entire family, an entire other family, but you're helping your family. But I guess I'm supposed to use these.
You feel the bond break between your finger and the skeleton. You pull your hand quickly back to your side. The truth of your final answer momentarily calms you, but it is not enough to ease the inner pain ripping through your mind, soul, and body. The pressure builds and builds.
Such a pity.
What the fuck?